anything about most about it, numbers and things. I was thinking last night about what to talk about, and because I really try not to talk about wines, and I was very impressed with myself last year. I had a very witty anecdote that linked Pinot to sex, in fact. But then Dean Shaw stood up after me and just took it to a whole nother level and was far funnier than I'm ever going to be. So I'm not going to. So I'm not going to do that this year.
How unusual.
I'll leave it to it's all up to you, mate. There you go. You'll have to think quickly. What I probably did want to talk about for people who don't really know Mudhouse or what we're about is kind of people, because for us we have varieties in regions that we think they do particularly well. So we have Sauvignon Blanc in Marlborough, Riesling and Pinot Gris in Waipara, and Central Otago Bendigo vineyard for Pinot Noir. And the key thing about all of those vineyards, and I guess our history, is that the original vineyard managers who planted those vineyards 10 or 20 years ago are still running those vineyards. And I think they're really key to our success. You know, that's really where our wines are made. And Duncan, who runs our Bendigo vineyard, is a particular character who I'm extremely fond of. He immigrated, was forced to immigrate from Zimbabwe, where he was a large format farmer, cropping farmer, when he lost his land to Mugabe, and came to New Zealand because his son was here, and came down to Central Otago to stay with them. Sort of, they'd lost everything, and saw a little ad in the Central Otago Times, which was literally a little ad saying vineyard manager wanted for new vineyard in Bendigo. And he read it and he thought, oh, how can that be much different to growing wheat? So I thought, I'll throw my hat in the ring. He doesn't say that anymore, but he thought, I'll throw my hat in the ring. And in those days, when we really were just a vineyard company, that's how we started. We used to grow grapes. The interviews were conducted at the local pub, and the guys, if they took a shine to someone, you know, it didn't really matter if they had any experience or knew what they were doing, but they got the job. So they obviously quite like Duncan, and it's not surprising because he's a lovely guy. So him and his wife Janie live down on the property, and they really do treat the vineyard as their own. And for me in particular, I spend a lot of time there, and I love going there because it's like going home to our family farm in Australia, where there is the average age of the permanent workforce there is about 72.6. And so I always feel quite youthful when I come back. But it's like having a group of aunties and uncles for me in New Zealand, because obviously I'm not from New Zealand, if you can tell. Happy Australia Day yesterday. And so I love going there. It's like the ask the auntie. So not only do I get to look at the grapes and decide when to pick them and have a bit of a walk around with a bit of culturist, but I also get asked the state of my health. Am I sleeping? Am I eating well? How the relationship's going? Those kind of things. Time to settle down with children. So it's a fantastic place, and I really think that they show in our wines. Duncan's very down to earth. You really can't talk to him too much about making Pinot, or his eyes sort of glaze over and he has a beer. But I like that approach that he brings. It's a very matter of fact, very practical approach to growing grapes, and I appreciate that because that's my background as well. So I really think that care and attention and the fact that they really do treat the vineyard as their own shows in our wines, and it shows on all of our wines from all of our vineyards. So yeah, this wine for me is a celebration of sort of the people that are involved in making wine that you don't sometimes see, that you don't hear about. So I hope you enjoy it.
What year is it?
2007.